Good morning and welcome to our Facebook Live today. It is Wednesday the 21st of April in 2021. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name's Jenny McCormack. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm based in the market town of Brackley, which is in the UK. This week I've been featuring this stamp set called Welcoming Window and introducing the matching dies that go with it. So the stamp set will work entirely on its own, as will the dies to an extent, but obviously together then they form a really good set for lots of different cards and scrapbooking. So thank you for joining me today. If you're watching live, you'll see a little red rectangle with the word live top left hand side, and you're welcome to say hi, let me know that you're watching. I can't tell otherwise, and it's always nice to know who's there and have a chat with you. If you're watching on replay or on YouTube and you have any questions or comments, feel free to use the comment box underneath the video, and obviously if you have any questions then I'd be delighted to help you and to answer any that you may have. So I'm just checking to see who is with us this morning. It's Wednesday already. I don't know where yet another week is going. So good morning to you, Carol, Jeanette and Monica. Well done, Monica. She's just finished tidying up after dinner. Excellent. Okay, so let me just briefly show you the cards that we've made so far this week. So this was Monday's, just a very simple stamped card. This was yesterday's, using a combination of stamps and the dies. So I used the flower pot dies here and also the floral image dies. Morning Annette from Australia, and hi Kerry. So today's card is going to be this one here, which features this lovely die set. The only stamping I've got in here is this background brickwork and the flowers. The dies themselves do all of this detailed work. I don't know if you can pick that up on the screen or not. So you don't even need to put through an embossing folder, because the dies do all of this lovely woodwork for you. So the dies that I'm going to use for this card will be this one here that cuts the two shutters in one go. We've got the window itself and the window box, like so. Now in the die set you also get these hinges, and what's nice is you get two sets of hinges. Each die cuts out 4 hinges in one go, so I only need one of those for today's card. And then I'm going to use the die cut for the flowers once I've stamped those. I'm going to leave that there for the moment. So the components for this card, I haven't decided on the base colour, and that's because I haven't decided what flower colour we're going to pop in there. So I think I might go orange for Carol today, as Carol was the first one on that said hi, and I know orange is Carol's favourite colour. So what I've got to use today is a piece of very vanilla. This is 9.5 centimetres by 13.85. Sorry, I had to think about that. For that front layer and my stamping. Of course I have early espresso for my layer behind, like that. And then I've got some scraps. That's okay, Carol. So scraps for stamping my flowers, and a piece of cut of crumb cake for the windows. Obviously you get the shutters and the frame. Obviously you could make this any colour you wanted. I think for a continental card, this in a blue would look really nice, like a balmy blue for like a seaside property. So let's start with the stamping, and then I'll do the die cutting. Let me move those out of the way. I'm hoping you can see that clearly enough, like so. Let me move that out of the light because it's reflecting. I can see that. So for this background here, I'm going to use crumb cake again, good old trusty crumb cake. So just going to ink this up. Now I know that my crumb cake ink needs definitely needs re-inking. I am just going to grab another sheet so I can go off the paper. She says. Oh. I'll use this one, that was a bit crumpled up. Okay, just going to pop this underneath like so, and I'm just going to use the brick stamp to go all the way over, and I am going to leave a few gaps here and there, so as you can see it fits together really well. But what I'm going to do is leave a few gaps like so. And also turning the stamp round so that you get details in different places. So I've just thought of something, which was on this one here. Obviously I've got no bricks showing, so what I needed to do was cover that over. But I think what I'll do to get around that is I will just cut a piece of vanilla card that will sit behind the window frame. So just popping that along there. As I say, just rotate it and leave some gaps, and I think that makes it look much more authentic. If you want to look, if you're looking for an old, you know, sort of vintage wall effect. So in the UK here we have a lot of stone buildings. So there's local Cotswold stone, which is like a real sort of warm yellow honey sort of colour, and then we have Yorkshire stone. So there's all sorts. So that is my background, like so. Hope you can see that okay. Right, now for our floral images here, which we're going to cut out. So I've got this same stamp here, so there's two sets of floral, and as I've got it here, I'm just going to use Pear Pizzazz. Like so. Stamp a third one for luck. Okay, and this has the gaps inbuilt ready for the flowers. And it's this set of flowers here that fit in those holes. So I'm going to use orange for Carol. Let me have a look and see. So I have got pumpkin pie. I'm not sure how dark this one is in terms of the state of my ink pads. So let's have a look. Just going to stamp it off on here. Yep, that's okay. Just going to wipe that down. Okay. So just take your time to position that in the holes, and what you'll see me do excuse me, is move the stamp away so that I can see when it's filling the hole back again, if that makes any sense. If you had a darker ink here, then I think you'd it would be a lot easier. I'm just making sure I've got it in the gaps. There's one. And also I'm coming at a slightly different angle because the camera is between me and the stamping, so I'm not looking straight down on it. There we go. So I'll stamp 3 and I'll choose the best 2 of the 3. Okay, so that's my stamping. This is my background. So now I'm going to do the die cutting. I have my die cutting machine just here to the left, my Stamp and Cut and Emboss. So I've got a window frame, I've got the panels for the shutters, and I've got the window box. So they can all go through like that. For these little pieces here, I'm actually going to use a scrap of early espresso, and because they're quite small, I've decided to use our self-adhesive sheet on the piece of espresso, so that I can just pick them up and stick them down and not have to add glue to them. And what's nice is that it includes the little embossing for where the screws would be. So it's quite a detailed little die. So I'm just going to cut off a piece of sheet. If I could find my scissors. Oh, I can see them now, they're tucked behind. Okay, so will this piece fit in there? Yes, it will. So all I'm going to do is stick this on the reverse, okay, die cut this out, and then I can peel the backing off to place these down. So I really do recommend using these for small die cuts. It's a bit of a waste on a large die cut, but you could still do that, especially if you have issues with glue and things like that. If you'd want to keep it nice and clean, then by all means use our adhesive sheets. If I could get this one peeled away, it would be even better. You have to talk amongst yourselves now. Let me grab my knife. Pokey tool is good for this as well, because you can just lift up the edge. Come on. Got it. Okay, so that's the sticky side, so I'm just going to place that on here like that, leaving this protective cover on for now, and then when it die cuts through it will have this piece on the back and I can just peel those off. So this piece is going to go through as well, so let's just cut that piece down. So I hope everybody's keeping well. Evening for you ladies in Australia. Okay, so that one's going to go onto there, and then I've got my floral images here, so I'm just going to grab the this piece here. So I'll have to put this through twice, obviously once for each of those. I've got 2 on here. You could actually have 3. You could have the 2 different types if you wanted to, but I'm just going to stick with that. So let me just get my plate ready. And these can all go through in, oops, in one go, as long as I don't ping them everywhere. So, and my recommendation always is to make sure that your dies aren't going through with the flat side at 90 degrees to your plate. You always want them at an angle. It's much nicer on your die cutting machine. Okay, so let's pop that one there. We've got our little extras on there, and then let me just cut one of these. We'll just engage brain, Jenny. Use the space available. So as this is more critical where this one is cutting, I'm going to just use a little bit of masking tape to hold it in place. Oh, I got a bit close to that edge there, didn't I? I might be able to. I think I've got it. And anyway, I can tuck that piece underneath if I need to. Okay, so all of that is going through the die cutting machine, and then all I need to do is cut one more of the flowers, and I've just pinged that everywhere. I've obviously not had quite enough coffee today. Right, let's try this again. It's because my plates are quite warped, as you can see. I do have a new set of plates ready. I always keep a spare set of plates to hand. I do, to be fair, I do a lot of die cutting because I do a lot of die cutting for my classes. Okay, no worries. Thanks, Kerry, for joining us anyway. Hi, Katie. Okay, so just simply one cut through, and I've got my window frame. I hope you can see it's got all of that detail in it. A window box. My 2 shutters, like so. Let's move this one out of the way. I've got my flowers, part 1. And then here I've got the pieces from the, I can't think what they're called. Hinges, that is the word, the hinges. And they've got the backing on the reverse. I'll just pop those out and try not to lose them between now and making up the card. There's that. Okay, so I can put these dies away. back on my sheet so I don't lose them. There we go. What did I just say? I bet I've just thrown that out. Okay, oh no, maybe not. Okay, I've got 4 hinges. That's that. And then I'm just going to cut another of the florals out from here. I mean, obviously you could have different colours. You could add individual flowers if you wanted to. But for today I'm just using that the bundle to show you. Just stick those down with a bit of masking tape, pop it through, and then we can do some assembling. There we go. There we have it. Now I've chosen to use very vanilla today. Normally I use basic white. But I just felt with the stone and everything that the vanilla would look in keeping. Okay. Right, so let's have a look. I'm actually going to mat this onto our piece of espresso to start with. Doesn't really matter which way around it goes, does it? That sort of feels right, but I have no idea why. Okay. So this is our seal. I've actually got Seal Plus in this one, which is the extra strong one. So just going to pop this down, centralising it, hopefully. Keep it lifted up before you're ready to put it down, she says. Okay. Alright, so I do need to do this little bit of backing for my window, otherwise you're just going to see bricks behind, which is slightly bizarre, isn't it? And then the shutters are going to go here and here. Let's pop the hinges on the shutters, and hopefully now this is stuck down, it'll be easier to remove the backing. Famous last words. There we go. So just peeling that off. There we go. And so the window's going to go here and the shutters go that way, so that obviously when they're closed they would be covering the whole thing. And you can obviously do it with the shutters closed. You could also do it with one shutter closed and one shutter open if you wanted to. So I'm just going to put these along here. Like so. And what I did to make sure they lined up was I popped these two together like that. So let's pop this layer on. Should be easy. If I wasn't all fingers and thumbs this morning. Sorry, I'm making that look like really hard work. Okay. There we are. There's two like that. I think what I'm going to do is just, because these are quite small, just use a little bit of my tape hold them temporarily together on the back so that I can line the other ones up and know that they'll be all aligned together. There's that one. So just using that then as a guide. Because, oops, I know if I tried to do it by eye, it wouldn't be in line. So let's pop this one on. It really doesn't want to play the game, does it? Come on. Got it. There we go. So by sticking those two together, it's a lot easier to get those lined up like that. Okay, so now I can just take that masking tape off the back and know that those two are in line. Oops. So that's how that is going to go, like so. And my window box is going to go underneath. Morning, Tracy. No, that's true. Nobody's watching, Monica, so that's fine, isn't it? There we go. So that's on there like that. And then I've got my two pieces of foliage that are going to go on there. So all I need to do is grab a piece of card to fit really behind that. So because I didn't mask it off. So what I think what I did on here was I just did a little pencil line around the outside and then just avoided that whole piece. But hey ho. So let's just draw a line around this and cut it out. Just using a pencil. Otherwise we'll see the bricks through it. Now the bit at the bottom actually doesn't really matter, because that's going to be covered by the window box. So can you see what I'm creating is just that panel behind. So I'm just going to manually cut this, and I'm just going to cut it just very slightly smaller than the line I've drawn, so it doesn't protrude, and again just slightly smaller than this, like so. So hopefully that will fit behind there like that. I could just trim that bottom bit off. Like so. There we go. But to avoid having to do that, what I should have done was just put my window down and drawn a little line around it so that I knew not to put my brickwork in there. I was just getting carried away with those lovely bricks. Okay, so you could distress these elements if you wanted to, just using a dauber. I'm just going to see if I've got, I'm pretty sure I've got a little bit of brown left on here. Might be daring and add a little bit of espresso. Let's just grab a sheet. So I don't want it too dark, but it just brings out the wood grain. to do the same with this, with our window box. So I hope everybody's got nice weather for the day ahead, for those that are in daytime. It feels cold today, but I'm hoping the sun will work its way through. So literally just adding a small amount. If you can, I'm not sure whether you can see that detail between the two really from there, but it just makes that wood grain stand out a little bit more. There we go. So let's do some assembling. What I'm going to do is attach this piece to the back of my cutout first. And all I'm going to do is just put a little line of glue around those edges. Like so. And this is what you would do if you were attaching this straight onto the card as well. So just going to pop that on there. Like that. There we go. This bit here is going to be covered, so I'm not worrying that's a tiny little bit showing. And then that's going to go down in the centre, I think. Like so. And one thing you'll see I did on here was I used a blends pen just to colour it in to make it look like it was glass. I'm not sure whether the camera actually will pick that up, but I'll do it so that you can see. I'll do that now as well. So you could use any light blue, pool party, balmy blue would work, seaside spray would work. Let's use the smaller side, and just going to do that like so. So I appreciate you probably can't see, but you can see the mechanism. You could put curtains behind. I was thinking of what images I've got with people, to actually have some people behind there. I might have a look and see what I can do with that. Okay, so just soften that window pane, and then these are going to go either side. I think what I'm going to do with these is actually pop these up on dimensionals just to be slightly different, because shutters don't always go back flat, do they? Three. Like so. Oh, the sun's come out. I'm happy now, and I like to leave a little bit of a gap between the two. Helps to get it straight though, Jenny. Do it this way. There we are. So I think it just looks a little bit more realistic like that. I'm just using three dimensionals on each one. As I say, this would be lovely in a coloured card. And again, a little gap, like so. And then I'm going to add my window box across the bottom, and then pop my flowers on the top. Just add a bit more of that. And this is going to be on dimensionals as well. Just going to use some strips from along the edge. They're perfect for this sort of thing. There we go. Use that little piece that's there. Voila. I'm not going to add a little bit to those bottom pieces. I don't think it needs it, but you could do. And just going to let that drop, and then I can sort of maneuver it. Like so. And then I can add my flowers on the top. And I've got a feeling I didn't cut the second one out. Oh yes, I did. There they are. Okay, so these can go on. Now you want to be able to see the window box. Okay, so you could just have one there if you wanted to. That would work. But I'm going to have these overlapping like so. You could also tuck them behind the window box if you wanted to. So cut this down and have it tucked in. Does that make sense? Like so. Obviously not quite as large as that, but I'm just going to pop these on the top like so. You could also use the die cuts with the pots. This obviously is a rather large one for here, but you could have the pot sitting on the top. So we have this dinky little one. I know this is in white, but you could have 3 little pots there, for example. That would also look nice. But for this one, I'm just going to attach these two. And I'm just going to add dimensional in the top left of this one and the top right of this one, just so it's supported. And I'm not even going to have a full one, just a small piece. So this is going top left, down here. This one's going top right, up here, like so. Because this piece is at the right height, and I might add a little bit of glue across the bottom. There we go. Just hold those in place. Everybody's very quiet this morning. So I'm going to have this one here. So I want to be able to see the window box really. And this one I actually want to move over. Otherwise it won't sit on there very well, will it? There we go. There we are. And that's going to sit on a pumpkin pie base. Just to keep Carol happy. If I can find one. Let me just grab a piece. It, and then we're all done. Thank you, Monica. Thank you so much. So this would make a great new home card. And I do know quite a few people who've moved house recently, so that could be where these are headed. So this is just half an A4 sheet, scored in half again, and folded. There we go. And that's going to go onto there. Thank you, Carol. You would say that orange is beautiful. we had purple yesterday for Katie, didn't we? So orange today for Carol. There we are. Just stick that down because that's sticking up a little bit. There we go. And this does have, in the stamp set, it does have a welcome. So you could easily put that either down here on the right hand side, or you could put it on a little border here. You could even make a little sign for it if you wanted to and have that hanging down. That would be quite easy to do. Just take a rectangle. I'll show you just really quickly, just with this offcut. So you could take a rectangle, stamp welcome, and then just have a little piece of baker's twine attached to the back, and then you can have that hanging off here. So I might do that later. Anyway, there we go. This is today's card featuring the welcoming window stamp set and the matching window flower box dies, they're called. Bit of a mouthful, isn't it? But there we go. So yes, I think that would make a nice new home card, or a missing you card, or this sentiment here, wishing our paths crossed a little more often, would also be nice across the bottom or top. So there we go. That is today's stamping. Thank you so much for joining me. Let me clear this space a little bit so you can see that. Let me bring that up to the camera a little bit as well. There we go. I do think the pots would look nice, so I might have a play with that later. So thank you everybody for joining me. I will be back here tomorrow. That is Thursday, UK time 7 PM. That's our new evening slot, and I'm just trialing that for a couple of weeks to see how it goes. So thanks for watching me today. I hope everybody has a nice evening or day, depending on whereabouts you are in the world. I appreciate your company. Take care, look after yourselves, look after your loved ones, and I hope you can keep crafting. Thank you everybody. Bye for now.